Hi, welcome to the Event Industry Facebook Live. I am Jen Singer, the founder of the Event Industry, an online community and resource for my fellow event planners. How are you doing today? What is going on in your world? Are you excited that we've got a short week? Pretty excited, it's already Friday. So hopefully you have some fun stuff and planned for the weekend. Or you've got an event that you're working on. You're probably running around like crazy, getting all the things together for your next big event, because us fellow event planners don't really have weekends sometimes. So anywho, welcome to our weekly Facebook Live. If this is your first time, every Friday at 10 a.m. I go live and I talk about an event planning subject and answer any questions that you have. Today we're going to be talking about entertainment and with some best practices for securing entertainment for your event and some things to be mindful of as you manage that relationship with those vendors from the very beginning in the planning process to production to the wrap-up follow-up. Before we jump into that, I do want to just thank some of our listeners who have reached out recently and submitted some questions to me via email. So keep them coming. You can contact me at hello@theeventindustry.com. That's THE, eventindustry.com. hello@theeventindustry.com is the best way to reach me. You can also bring your questions here to the Facebook Live, but we've been receiving some awesome questions via email recently and through our website. If you've not visited the website, it's theeventindustry.com. And there's some great tools and tips, resources, free checklists and guides on, questions asked on venue tours or, just how to organize all of your event details. So it can be a great source of information. It has all the videos and Facebook Lives that we've done in the past. So definitely recommend visiting the website if you haven't done so in the past. And a question that came through this week was, how much do I charge my clients? And that is a fantastic question and something that I have been challenged with. I have my own business, Jen Singer Events, that I operate as well and work with a number of clients, and that element of, what should my fee be, to make sure I feel like I'm compensated. And so we are going to dive deep into that next week. So join us next Friday at 10 a.m., same place, and we're going to talk about, what are some things to consider when I'm determining like what my rate is, hourly or a flat rate for my clients. Because I know a lot of you listening are entrepreneurs, so love to walk you through like some of the elements I consider. Okay, so now on to entertainment. Now, what are we talking about when we talk about entertainment? Like what does that mean? Now, this can be anything from a DJ or a background playlist or a band or stilt walkers or live theatrical performances. Anything that's going to enhance the environment of the event basically can fall under the umbrella of entertainment. And that could be magicians, you name it. So lots of different elements that can be considered for entertainment. Now, how do I find entertainers? Obviously, like going on Google search is a great way to, find some potential entertainers. There's definitely people that specialize in specific types of entertainment. But if you're looking for something, a little bit more generic, like a really good DJ or a good band, I would highly recommend that you, contact your people in your network or friends, colleagues for referrals. I've had some challenging working relationships. I've had some great bands or DJs I work with, someone I work with on a regular basis, and some of them have been a bit more challenging. So I find that personal recommendations or referrals are a good way to get going if you don't have any that you work with on a regular basis. Okay, so when you're reaching out to these potential vendors or, entertainers, if you will, the thing that you need to kind of prepare before you just, email them or call them and try to get a price and kind of go over the specifics is outline the specifics in advance for yourself. So get all the event details and expectations like outlined in advance. Okay, what's the date? Where's the time? how long do you want them to play or perform, kind of whatever genre they're falling into. Outline all of those specifics in advance so they have a clear expectation, so they price it accordingly, so there's no surprises for them or you as you get more into the planning that could end up costing you more money. So outline your specifics of your expectations and the event logistics in advance to have those conversations. So then when you're getting to the details of the proposal or the contracts, you want to make sure a lot of those are outlined in that contract. And one thing that can come up a lot of times is like different breaks. Now, obviously bands can't play hours and hours and hours. They need breaks in between, but you need to establish like, okay, well, what time are those breaks and how can you schedule those accordingly so it flows with the event experience? And then also, what is the plan of when they take a break? Making sure that they're going to supply maybe some background music so it's not like totally quiet. Another element that comes up a lot of times that sometimes is a surprise, or it has been for me, is the requirement of a vendor meal. Now, a lot of times there won't be a vendor meal required. Maybe they're only performing, maybe it's a magician per se, and he's only going to entertain everybody for about an hour. Like you probably don't need to feed this person. But if you have a band and there's like 6 of them, you might need a budget for feeding them. And that could just really affect the total budget cost. And you want to make sure that you're outlining that for yourself or your clients in advance. So getting all of those details in writing. And the other element as it relates to DJs or bands and kind of that element of like sound systems is making sure that who is supplying the sound system? Are they bringing speakers? Is that included with their pricing? Because sometimes it is and sometimes it's not. And being very specific about what they mean by sound system. And I've talked about this on a Facebook Live a couple episodes ago where I had a band that just showed up with like 1 speaker. And that was just not suffice for the footprint of the venue and the number of guests. And luckily we had an AV company also supplying stuff, and we were able to kind of mitigate that and solve that problem in advance, or in the spur of the moment, if you will, before guests arrive. So advance to people knowing. But just something to outline in it, now it's something I talk about with all bands, DJs, like get very specific about, the sound system element. So just to recap, entertainment can be such a fun component of your event and leave your guests with a really fun experience or create this ambiance, fun music, whether it's live or it's DJ, and it definitely enhances the event is going to be a component. But you just want to manage up with it. Be really clear about expectations in advance. Make sure those elements are in your contract, and make sure you just follow through as you roll through the production of the event. So if there's not any questions, thank you all for joining today, and tune in next week where we're going to be talking about how to set your pricing for your clients, whether you want to do hourly or flat rate or some things to consider with your client contracts. So thanks, y'all. Have a great weekend.